because this is just a spoiler alert for the episode that Yulia's not here because she has COVID.
Shit.
Yeah, episode ruined. Sorry, you can turn it off now.
Yeah, so it's the whole it's like Chekhov's gun. If you use a host in the beginning of the podcast, they has to also be there at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, so we're putting a disclaimer of that. Then the ongoing contest of who is the coolest member of the show has been decided by that it is Yulia.
Right.
I know, we're all disappointed. Like, I didn't win. It's okay.
The bookies' odds were never in my favor. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I know. Well, it's fine. I would have. Yeah.
Well, that's ultimate wild card, you know.
I would have split the earnings with you, Kieran.
Yeah.
But it's fine because by default Yulia wins because she's the first person in the show to have gotten COVID twice.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is the defining factor of being cool or having friends, actually.
It's so hot
because
right now.
there was that South Korean study that came out of if you didn't get COVID, that you probably don't have friends.
I've never had COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Uma's is in last place, also by default.
Yeah. Fair.
And so that's the only bit of information that I wanted to give is that the contest of who is your favorite and coolest member of Corner Späti has been decided. Yep. It's Yulia. I'm sorry. I was really gunning for this win as obviously being the favorite member of this show of everyone.
I totally believe that I had that like original Italian COVID because remember that thing that came out like middle of 2021 where they're like that was that one article circulated and they're like, oh, we found COVID in people like months before in like late 2019 in Italy, and I was just like, eating a bat does sound like an Italian thing. They just like do something to it, and then they yell at you if you cooked the bat wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna see like a TikTok of like an Italian man just like being really upset with his non-Italian wife, being like, "Why you prepared the bat wrong? I can't eat this.
You can't eat a bat after noon.
Yeah,
bats are a morning."
Americans come to me and say, why can't I have bats after 3 p.m.?
Your Italian voice sounds very Zizek.
Yeah, whatever. Zizek low-key probably Italian. We don't know.
Yeah, this is like the weird kind of iridescent. Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm sure Mussolini claimed that at some point. All Slovenes are actually Italians that have been corrupted by Tito.
Well, I mean, they do share a border with Italy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I am a Slovene truther.
Modern Slovenes probably would love this.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything
you know what?
for them to disassociate with the Balkans.
Here it is. I'm handing this over to you, the entire nation of Slovenia. You are officially Italian, coming from a card-carrying Italian.
Yes.
So you're welcome. I expect. I don't know. What does Slovenia have to offer me? Bring me Janša.
Bring me Janša. Yeah, actually, bring me Janša. Bring me the guy who started as a stand-up comedian who would do impressions of Janša that eventually ran against him in that one election. And we'll make him fight in a pit.
That's right. Yeah, that's all I asked for. Give me your former prime minister. Hey. Welcome to your weekly Corner Späti. It is myself, Nick, joined with Kieran.
Hey.
And joining for, her first time as a permanent member on the show, we got Uma.
Hi.
And Rob and Yulia are...
so awkward.
Yeah.
It's
fine. Yeah. I was expecting more like, but, I'll deal with, hi.
Yeah, Uma is usually like one of those like old-timey pianos they would have in cinemas that have like all the horns attached to it and they go woo, and it's like
exactly,
and crash sounds and stuff like that. She usually brings that. She didn't deny it. We're very disappointed. We mostly wanted the sound effects piano.
But as mentioned before, Yulia's being cool, getting COVID, and Rob is doing more important stuff than podcasting.
Rob's out there trying to get third COVID.
Yeah.
He's trying to speed run
Yeah.
getting COVID multiple times.
He's trying to do what you do in the U.S., where if you get a PhD, you also do your master's at the same time.
Yeah. I can get COVID my second and third time simultaneously. I
Yeah.
don't know how yet.
So, Europe.
Yep.
What's up with it lately? I have a lot to say about, unfortunately, G7 and NATO, and I don't want to bore the gang with that quite yet. So I think we can get to that towards the end.
We'll say that towards the end, because there was some fun, stupid stuff from that. We can probably just talk about this German energy stuff though first. Because
why are you making it something that then I have to talk about?
Because you just do. There's some like Spanish stuff. Me and Uma could talk about.
Okay,
that
cool.
before.
Yeah, I want to.
It's a Nick sandwich. You know how you name the sandwich after the bread and not what's in the middle? It's a Nick sandwich.
You don't do that.
Wait, no, did they ever say like people always call those things like, like a compliment sandwich? Compliment, criticism, compliment. I was like, well, you don't name the sandwich after the bread, so it would still be like
a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah,
like you would name. Wait, you mean you don't name it?
Oh, whenever anyone uses sandwich as a metaphor.
See, I want our podcast to go this direction of talking about the most asinine bullshit stuff for
nothing would have changed. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I was so confused because I'm like, English
Whenever
is not my first language. I don't know what the hell.
Real sandwiches are named after what's in the middle. But whenever anyone wants to use sandwich as a metaphor for like an A-B-A structure, they always name it after the A and not the B, which is the content.
Wait.
Like a compliment sandwich.
I'm so confused. But so if you say English lessons,
no, we're working this out. We're working this out.
Yeah, no, I'm
if you
lost.
say a Nick sandwich, isn't it?
I got two hotties to the left of me, and I'm in the middle.
It's named.
Whenever sandwich is used as a metaphor, it's the reverse of what you do with actual sandwiches.
Oh, wait. So then Nick sandwich would be a
would
literal
be two
sandwich.
Nicks with like a hottie in the middle.
No.
Wait, I've been lied to my
it
whole
would be
life.
one Nick in the middle, and
That's
then
what it should be, but it's not.
no, I'm right.
Okay, compliment sandwich.
Okay, fine, whatever. Compliment sandwich as compliment, criticism, compliment.
compliment.
Fine, whatever. You know what? I don't like this. It's not real. I would never order like
The podcast is a Nick
Oh my
sandwich.
God.
Talk about energy stuff.
Okay, yeah.
They didn't teach me this in English class.
Yeah, they didn't teach it to me either.
They're cowards.
I think that Kieran's just making something up, which is bullshit.
Just to confuse us. Yeah.
You can't claim to be good at English. If you do that, they'll take your Italian passport away.
That's fine. So, no, it's not fine to take my Italian passport. I will be moving back to the United States ASAP because I'm pretty sure I couldn't get a visa with my current job.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, before the G7, there was a conference that I believe was called the B7, which just to me sounds like that there's like a Crip blood like rivalry of this of like, oh no, like not the C7, we the B7. Which had to do with like other policies around the G7, particularly like energy politic and whatnot. And we may have like touched briefly on it last week. I don't remember because I never remember like anything that we record.
The fugue stage.
Yeah.
We're all aware of this.
Germany did this really funny thing where kind of like in the aftermath of this, they had a discussion about energy policy because it's one of the things that then one, you have the Greens in power who's supposed to be good. Yeah, green politics.
Yeah.
Two, you just got hit with what, a €1,000 energy bill?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pro Putin now because of this.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. Thank God they let me pay in installments. Jesus.
Yeah. So there's an energy crisis going on that on top of it, and a political party within the coalition that then supposed to be good at this shit. And the thing that I think is always funny is that then I've been saying this since day one of the coalition, and just like, at the beginning of the podcast, that we are all living in Christian Linde's world. Like, we are but pawns of this like beautiful freakish boy.
I still maintain from what I said last week that it's not like he's not happy because he's just not getting enough attention.
I think he's kind of fine with it though, because like he's doing his like, fucking big mastermind stuff in the background. One of them being that Germany has decided that, you know what, this whole like getting off of coal thing is like kind of shit. We should double down and reinvest in it. So Germany is reinvesting in coal because Germany also doesn't want to, get nuclear energy from France. They like have a big like weird thing about that they're like, well, they're closing all their nuclear plants. They have 6 left that are still open. That are being phased out. To be very fair, it is incredibly expensive to like just to be like, oh no, just kidding. We're gonna like, go back to using, reopening our nuclear plants. Like it is kind of unfeasible. It takes like a decade even to like
establish those.
So it's like, while I think that there probably is, some truth in the fact that Germany should not be so afraid of nuclear, there's also like simply just a practicality of that it isn't like like there's not gonna be a nuclear plant like reopening like next week. It would be a long process, not even to mention building one takes like 15 years, if they were to build new ones, and it isn't permanent, like I think that then all like the nuclear green people think like that it's like, oh, it's the be all end all of energy, except for like it isn't. It's like it's a bridge, but whatever. This isn't here to talk about Germany's weird.
I mean, I think it's still pretty stupid to like not buy the nuclear energy.
Oh yeah,
that
incredibly
France is already
stupid.
Producing.
Yeah. So Germany then is deciding that they're going to double down in the most pollutant and most radioactive form of energy, which is coal. And not even just coal, but we've talked about this before with a long time ago with like Ende Gelände, that it is brown lignite coal, which is the most polluting variant that Europe produces and uses. But also the oddest thing is that Christian Lindner has also suggested, and I don't know if this has gone through yet, but that Germany should remove its ban on fracking.
Oh my god!
So fucking take that, Russia. We're gonna speed up climate change.
So there's a lot going on here. First of all, coal as a commodity reached like record high prices this year, and
hell yeah,
there's commodity analysts going on being like, yeah, it's probably going to beat that record before the end of the year because of Germany's like demand for it.
I bet all that. Oh god, the amount of money that like was it RWE? It's them who own all the plants. They're just like looking at their bank accounts, being like, "Damn, my money look good."
Yeah. One of the reasons Germany is so fucked is because most other countries can like come back can supplement their like missing Russian gas with liquid natural gas in the States. Germany does not have the ports or like the means necessary to like just plug liquid natural gas into their system. So they can't buy liquid natural gas in the US, unlike I think Italy can, for example.
Yeah.
And I still also love that like, okay, there was always like a geopolitical and tactical problem with all of our gas coming from Russia. Like even if you maintain relations with them, it was still like problematic fave or whatever. Like, but now we're going to be swapping that for totally not problematic government of Poland, probably.
Hell yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah,
they're in the EU. They must be fine. Don't look into it. So yeah, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's all that I wanted to cover. The gift that keeps on giving, that is the current coalition, just like somehow stumbling continuously, but like not losing any support somehow. Yeah. The only party that's doing bad is the SPD because they're at the helm of it, and the Greens and the FDP are just like cruising. Like I think it's just the fact that Baerbock and Habeck have been so vocal, and except for Habeck got himself fucked over this week where he's like, oh yeah, like if you're expecting me to like give you money, he's like, no, like literally just said that on like national TV. But the thing is that I think a lot of people don't realize too that like this type of scandal just like appears on Twitter for like a day in Germany, and then it's like the general public in Germany are just like
ignores it.
Not even ignores it. Like, it's just the fact that then, like, I think because there is some truth that while the myth of people in Germany don't vote for people, they vote for parties, in this regard, it's like kind of like consistent. Like, people who like voted for the Greens are just like kind of gunning for them, being like, well, I know that their leadership's bad, but you know what? Like, I'm like, they have been so stable in their polling, it's insane.
They should be, but they are.
Yeah. They should be. Yeah. They should be. I don't know, in whatever last place would be, but
there were Green voters last election, or like on the run up to the last election, who knew who Baerbock was but didn't know who Habeck was.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how like he's kind of risen to be the star of this situation.
No, Baerbock is the star of the situation.
Is she still?
Yeah, she's killing it.
I feel like I'm hearing more from Habeck, but
no, because I guess I'll get to it when we talk about the NATO summit.
Yeah. But
she's been killing it, and by killing it, I mean like maybe like actually killing it.
Yeah. So yeah, the thing, the other. Let's go into various energy crisis news. Which will be fun as we record this podcast in the dark. So like,
yeah, we have our gas lanterns open. I'm riding a bike to keep the computer going.
We got the hookup with just like, we got RuPaul to sponsor our podcast.
Yeah,
he gave us all his.
See, I was stupid in the beginning and thought that like becoming really pro Russia would have gotten us like, you know, a sweet
our
gas
own like
fix.
gas engine.
Yeah,
generator.
I thought that we would have gotten like just like a pipeline directly into the studio,
Damn.
but I guess not. I guess when they shut down Nord Stream 2, they also shut down our special, you know, corner Späti Gazprom pipeline.
Robert Habeck says gas is a scarce commodity. There's planning to ration.
They're going to do price caps too, according to the G7 summit, but that's not fucking important because Scholz also didn't explain what he meant by a by a price cap. He just kept saying like, "Oh yeah, it's a policy. We're thinking about it." I don't know. I don't understand how like Germans don't hate him more. Like, he is wildly unpopular, but like, for fuck's sake, like he is so shitty at his job. At least Merkel could like kind of get away with it by being like diplomatic. Like, Scholz is just a cunt.
Yeah, I mean, Merkel would kind of say nothing in a way that seemed smart.
Exactly. Yeah.
Scholz is not good at that. In a similar sense, De Croo, the head of Belgium, is like pleading with Germany to like cooperate on a possible like interconnected like energy grid structure that they could both benefit from, and he's being kind of ignored.
I mean, good. I would ignore him too.
French companies are urging homes and businesses to just use less electricity.
And at least telling people not to get their hair washed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, kind of same with Spain, but with the washing machines. They're like, you can only turn them on from this time to this time, and then if you do it like this other time, it's just gonna be double the price.
That makes
so like people have to wake up at like 5 a.m. to like.
No. Why would you do your
like the
wash?
Low money time. You know, like.
They've also
Wait, so energy in Spain is done like Uber of like, oh, these are
surge pricing on my fucking washing machine. Yes.
Didn't they? Wait, isn't that illegal in the EU?
I don't know.
I think
everything's illegal in the EU. Like, everything's legal in the EU unless enforced. Like, that's the
yeah, but like that was one of the things that, oh no, unless Germany gets mad about it, it won't change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nobody cares about Spain.
Yeah. True. All right.
We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff later that's also probably illegal in the EU. But UK energy companies are asking like businesses to do calculations on how much energy they could potentially save to avoid blackouts. So that's fun. Pedro Sanchez fucked up an energy supply issue earlier by doing one of his only like foreign policy moves, which was to recognize Western Sahara as part of Morocco, an autonomous region within Morocco.
Yeah.
Which meant Libya just cut off their access to gas because they get a gas pipeline from Nigeria up through via Libya into Spain. And Libya were just like, well, you can't have gas for a couple of months. So he exacerbated the crisis in Spain, which is funny.
Hot boy shit.
Yeah, I'm doing hot boy shit. I'm pissing off the Libyans. It's me and one scientist from Back from the Future.
Oh yeah,
'cause
whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he stole the uranium he needed for the DeLorean. He got from the Libyans, and he owed the Libyans money. People forget that, like, the opening part of Back to the Future. Anyway,
Where it says this movie was dedicated to the brave fighters of the Mujahideen, that part.
yeah, it's jeez, all right. So moving on. Speaking of Spain,
Oh no.
I'm sorry, Uma. We have two kind of like broad Spanish things to talk about. So I have to ask you, Uma, do we want to talk about Spain brackets good, or do we want to talk about Spain brackets bad first?
Don't you lead in with the bad news and go to the good news?
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna
All
say
right.
that.
Oh, it's really bad
It's,
news, though.
it's like we're laughing, haha, but like no.
So, the Melilla massacre. Let's open with that, I guess.
I shouldn't be laughing, but the transition was like
There's no other way.
I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. I was expecting something like light and fun bad, like you know, like
it's bad.
price surges of energy, or that then like you
No, it's
know,
real bad.
Nick's face was so. Fuck.
It's
Okay,
bad.
Sorry, yeah.
I didn't lie. It's bad.
Yeah, no, you really like leaned into that. It's bad.
All right. So, Moroccan border guards shot at a group of refugees and asylum seekers trying to enter into the Spanish exclave of Melilla in North Africa. The shooting and then subsequent stampeding caused by naturally what happens when you shoot into a crowd of people killed, I believe, 37 people.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that happened. Speaking of that Sanchez foreign policy agreement, a part of this seems to be the Moroccan end of the deal, basically. Or rather, the Spanish end of the deal, like what the Moroccans offered the Spaniards to recognize Western Sahara, which is a security and cooperation agreement, which kind of like what the EU broadly did with Turkey to an extent, which is like we outsourced our brutal external borders to be the responsibility of the Moroccans rather than Spanish border guards. And yeah, I believe an NGO called, in English, Walking Borders, something from Terra, I don't know. I've forgotten. They're the people on the ground who kind of like noticed since that agreement has been made, there's been like a steady rise in violence.
Well, there's not like before getting to that though too. There's also the little tidbit that I think that you briefly touched on and then didn't get to the entire beginning part of it is the Morocco Western Sahara thing.
Yeah.
That then Spain not only does not recognizing Western Sahara, which is like a big part of this, you know, thing. They find the leader of Western Sahara like guilty of crimes against humanity that then they're like trying to bring him on trial for in Spain, which is like pissing off a lot of people like in the region.
Yeah.
And
like the Libyans.
Exactly. And there was because this happened.
as well,
This happened like last year as well, where there are people crossing the. It is one of the most vile examples of a border because it literally is just like proves how stupid it is that this border exists. It's just like a fence that just like jets out to the ocean, and you see people just trying to like get over in whatever way they possibly can, and just like Spanish. What's your like the special police called?
La Guardia Civil.
Yeah, exactly. They just pop off like tear gas like in every direction and shit. And they're just like in their like little towers and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's so vile.
They were pretty violent as well. Like obviously not to the extent of like Moroccan police, but like they were pretty bad as well. And there was always complaints about the kind of brutality that they were using there because once they're inside Melilla, that's it. Like they're in Spain, right?
Yeah.
So like they would try to literally throw them like off the fence, and obviously they got injured. And I also saw like they did that to kids as well. And it's like,
I mean, the statistics is most people who died are believed to be South Sudanese, and there was a civil war that raged there for 2009 to 2014. I can't know how many years that's 5 years. And they're still kind of feeling the effects of that now. And Sudan is also like a military coup, which there are protests against that currently to try and topple the government, but we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, we don't. I mean, like, for a show that then is about Europe, it should be very apparent that one, we can't cover the rest of the world, and two, yeah, there's a lot of active wars in Africa, especially. Like Ethiopia is still in like the what is it?
Tigray.
War, exactly. To the point that then like the Ethiopian governments that had to like put the entire capital of I forget the capital city now. Shit.
Addis Ababa.
Addis Ababa. Yeah. Like completely under like
Lockdown,
military lockdown and shit like that.
Yeah, because the people in the capital were sympathetic to like the Tigray region.
Yeah, it's
also,
like and so like whenever this shit like boils like spills over into Europe, and Europe is like, oh, like, you know.
Well, you hear that during the refugee crisis that like there were people who would make that excuse of like, oh, I don't mind Syrians, there's a civil war there, but these Africans are just economic migrants.
It's like,
but
wait,
there were
there's like
wars and wars. It was just like not on the news, and still isn't to a large extent. I don't think I've ever seen a lot of. I haven't seen maybe apart from Al Jazeera, I have not seen like huge coverage.
It's like, all right. Speaking from experience, covering Africa is incredibly difficult, like to near impossible sometimes because of the fact of that your access just doesn't exist. Also, Al Jazeera gives journalists in active war zones like the most insane like pay bonuses.
Yeah, which I mean that would make sense. But then but to put it into context again, like most of these people were South Sudanese, and the South Sudanese who do actually make it to Spain proper, 90% of their asylum claims are respected and they get to stay. Like these are people who would have gotten to stay if they got over. Like so, it is just outsourcing it to Morocco and the border, and yeah, it's fucked up. But this is how Europe deals with this kind of stuff now. Yeah.
And then Sanchez at first he was like, "Oh no, yeah, the police like acted the way that they should, you know." Blah,
you
blah.
compliment them on a great job.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, "Great job, guys, love it, all the support." And then everyone was like, "Wait, but you know, a lot of people are dead. Like, what are you on about?" And then he blamed mafia.
He blamed the mafia. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, no, yeah.
What mafia? Like they're literally trying to jump a fence. Like they're like, what? Like,
no, it's Sanchez's new radical position where he calls the entire Guardia Civil mafia.
I mean, cool. Yeah, I'm on board, baby.
And that's why we love him in Catalonia.
Yeah.
I want to kiss his face. Yeah. Big beautiful face. This is a problem.
This is also an issue too that then I don't know if it is the same time this year, but when this was happening last year, Vox was having rallies like all over the place, being like, we're not going to take migrants and this and that and that. And it is like one of those things that then I always forget this party exists, and then will be like a big Vox protest. I'm like, oh, yep. What's his name from?
Abascal.
Huh?
Abascal.
No. The American guy.
Oh, Ezra Klein.
Ezra Klein's party's back at it again, just killing it.
Yes. Ezra Klein's, neo-Frankist party project.
I knew it the whole time. Those explain videos were just coded fascism, and I knew it.
Here's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. Columbus sat down with the Pilgrims and talked about how great Francisco Franco was.
Oh, Jesus. He would have loved that.
Anyway. Yeah, so this is the Malia massacre. It's not fun. It needed to be talked about because there's a lot of hate being made about it amongst kind of like liberals and a lot of people in the EU, but this is par for the course for a lot of Europe. It used to be that this Strait of Gibraltar and stuff like that was still like these areas that were very like refugees could actually cross and would. A lot of those places have been sealed off now. Nearly, I think, something like 300 last year people died trying to go from Morocco to the Canary Islands, which is a really long journey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
Yeah, but because all other ports have been like all other like routes have been closed off. This is the only one they have, and it's It's also Atlantic waters, which are fucking ridiculous, choppy waters. So yeah, it's terrible. But we can talk about Spain brackets good now if we want.
Yeah, I'm bummed out now. What the fuck, dude? I was expecting Spain, like I said, Spain bad to be fun bad.
No.
This week was bad.
It was
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. I'm sorry. We'll find more.
Good?
We'll
Well,
find.
the brackets good.
Yeah.
Spain has also bad Spain because of the
But like not Malia Massacre bad Spain.
No, like
okay,
fun.
Good. Yeah, okay, fun bad.
Fun
yeah.
bad.
All right.
Fun,
Did you see that? Speaking of fun bad, did you see that video that then Ben Miller posted of?
Oh my god! Yeah. Sorry, I just screamed.
Yeah. Speaking of, actual friend of the pod, not joking friend of the pod, Ben Miller. Author Ben Miller released his book Bad Gays along with his co-host from the podcast.
Yeah.
And someone brilliantly did not know what the title meant at first and would just bought the book and it was like, yes, bad gays, like being surf,
Like
this and that.
slay,
Yeah. And then ends up stitching their own video and is like, I did not mean it like that. They meant
about
bad,
fascists.
like as in fascist.
The way she said fascist, it was like fascist. Like, she was scared
She's
of
been
the
like
word.
traumatized by this book.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like the idea of just going into. I'm trying to think of another book that could possibly do that to you, of just like going into it not knowing what it was and just having a completely different time.
She clearly enjoyed it.
Or think it's very reminiscent to people who like rented like the VHS of Animal Farm thinking it was like a kids film. Like it's one of those kind of things. Very reminiscent of that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Spain bracket's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you lead this one because you put it in these notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this week the government approved law, which is commonly being called ley trans, like trans law.
Okay.
So it basically it's about LGBT plus people, especially trans people. And what it does is that it allows people over 16 to legally change their gender in their ID without having to, ask their parents for permission or whatever. What it does, though, it's so you can go, if you're over 16 or 16, you can go change your gender, but you have to wait 3 months to confirm. As like you have to wait 3 months and be like, yeah, I think I'm sure that I want to change my gender, know?
Like on standby, just like.
Yeah, because people were like, no, well, obviously transphobes?
Yeah.
English. They were like, no, but like, what if they're confused and blah, blah, blah. So they had to be like, okay, I guess we'll give them 3 months to think about it.
3 months,
And then they can, change it if they want. But then...
It sounds like we're giving trans people a warranty.
kind of, yeah. It's just like... It's just to shut up the transphobes that being like, look, they're not that confused if they waited 3 months and they still want to change.
Is the implication that you only get one?
You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to change your gender.
I guess.
Because it was like, if I could just do it again afterwards, then why would there need to be this 3 month? Whatever.
Wait, but then like
that's so confusing for transphobes. They're like, oh, wait, what? Like,
well, then just change it back.
yeah, wait, like I first I assumed that you could just be like just change it back if you could change it, one way or whatever. Like it, it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, but I think we're giving transphobic people the like benefit of
exactly yeah, because it's definitely the thing of like
as being something that's done in good faith. They're not asking these, they don't have these concerns in good faith.
Of course. I mean, like, and to be fair, it's like, I mean, not fair to transphobes, just like fair to people who are fair to people who have like gender
sides.
Yeah, no. Fair to people who have like, gender dysmorphia or just like in a lot of cases just like, growing up and unsure of themselves. It's like it's fine if you're if you're confused about your gender and then come out the other end being like, oh, maybe like I wasn't, like there's nothing wrong about that, you know? Like they're really like that's the thing that bugs me so much about that conversation is that then it's like, okay, yeah, like you know what? You tried it out. You either find out that then that you are that way or you aren't. I don't get what then transphobes make a fucking big deal about it at the end.
Yeah, because
like,
it's not about that.
No, of course it is. I know, like it is
yeah.
much about much more. But if they, it's like
They just
it's
hate
like the
transphobes.
abortion thing where people are all like, oh, you know, if we do this, then just women have been getting purposely pregnant in order to get abortions. It's like the same fucking logic. Yeah.
No, I suppose you can just change it whenever you want. Like, if you can change it once, I mean, I guess you also have to do the 3 months.
3 months again.
again, but I don't know, like.
Well, like, okay, so it's basically like I set off a timer, and then in 3 months, legally my gender has changed.
No, they just give you like another appointment. At
No.
the registry.
So then you get the 3 months and then the appointment again, and then that appointment.
But it's not like for this 3 month period I'm a non-person. It's like completely
No,
outside the system.
Obviously, you still have your like.
Because I have a
ID.
great solution for how to get away with crimes.
I
we all
don't
go to
exist.
Spain.
Yeah, just
We have
nonstop.
3 months to do crimes. We don't exist in the system. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, the best part of this law is that it will officially ban conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Which
Oh wow.
which obviously doesn't only affect transsexual people.
Yeah.
And TERFs. TERFs? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
TERFs.
Yeah.
What's the word in Spanish for a turf?
TERFs.
Yeah. If you're really pronouncing the E, you're not doing that thing in English where all vowels eventually just become like a weird U sound.
No, I think we just picked it up from English.
TERF.
But exactly.
Le TERF.
Are going mad again as well.
Of course.
Like, of course, they will never.
They
be
love
happy
conversion
with that.
therapy.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining, I don't know why, but he's got like a strong English accent, even though he is like a Spanish person from like Extremadura or something like that. Just been like, yeah, I went through conversion therapy. Didn't do me any rub. Me and all my friends went through conversion therapy. It's like it's a thing you did at school or something. Huh? Builds character.
Yeah.
You actually have to take conversion therapy
Yeah, you have
class
to
in
do it.
Extremadura.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like that's just how it goes.
Yeah. If you want to get into college, you have to have at least an A or a B in conversion therapy.
Yeah. What were your
Oh no!
I failed conversion therapy.
You have to pass. Jesus
I
Christ.
still have thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. the
Actually,
thing
sorry.
is-
To that point, though, actually,
yeah.
Was conversion therapy like a massive problem in Spain up until this point, or at some point, or?
I wouldn't say it was a massive problem, but it is a problem. I mean,
It existed.
Spain, of course, Spain is
Yeah.
a Catholic. I mean, we're technically not Catholic. You know.
I was about to say, watch your mouth. You're on a Catholic podcast now.
No, I am culturally Catholic. Like it is what it is.
Good. Right answer.
Yeah.
That was a test.
For people
Do we-
listening at home thinking, "Ooh, Uma's going to change the podcast."
No.
Oh yeah, it is. We're going to get more Catholics.
Yeah, Yulia's the
added
odd.
another
Yeah,
more
Yulia's
Catholics.
Yulia's the odd one out who was baptized. What is it? I guess German was evangelical, with the English word is
Oh,
Lutheran,
I wasn't
right?
baptized. Well, I was baptized illegally. Sorry, don't
That's
look at me like
hell
that.
yeah! All right, that's sick.
All right. What?
Illegal
Hang on.
baptism
What
is.
was this? What was this? What was it like? We dip our head into this font of Monster Energy drink. Someone's doing kick flips in the back and playing with a
sounds-
butterfly knife.
that
What is
sounds
an
sick.
illegal baptism?
Yeah, a back
What's
alley,
happening?
a back
It
alley
was like,
baptism.
no. It's actually like, it's a really funny story and I love telling it, but the way it starts is like
Yeah.
kind of sad, but it's just.
Don't worry, we built. So the Malia Mass.
No, literally.
God, fuck off.
It is literally like that because
Okay.
when my grandma was on her deathbed, she. Which is not funny. I love her.
Like, I want you to have a kid. Call her Uma and baptize her illegal as
No,
fuck.
no. Uma is not a Catholic. It's Hindu. So like.
Saint Uma.
Yeah, my parents were just like. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my grandma was dying, she was like, you know, because she's a Catholic, she has to confess all her sins.
Yeah.
And I was there. We were all there. And she was just like, Uma, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what did you do? What happened? And my dad goes, no, Mom, you shouldn't tell her. We agreed that I would tell her about like getting all serious. I was like, oh my God, I'm adopted. Like what the hell? And he was like, Uma, leave the room. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like in the hallway, like, I'm adopted. And I'm like, no, my brother looks exactly like me. We're both adopted. It's just spiraling.
It's a sister situation.
Yeah. Turns out they like illegally baptized me in their garden with holy water that some friend of theirs got from Jerusalem or
Hell
something
yeah.
like that.
Hell yeah.
That good
Black
alley.
market holy water, yeah.
So they just like poured it over me and when they were babysitting me, and then my parents were so mad. They're like, oh no, we didn't want to like. Yeah.
I'm imagining back the illegal like holy water being sold the same way you get like DVDs in Tashkent of just like they're in the box and stuff, but it's just like you obviously printed the cover of this on like your shitty home computer that's out of like red ink or something.
Yeah, and like
it's like a picture of the Pope, but like miscolored and like stretched because it wasn't like fitted formatted correctly. It's just like holy water. I'm like, I'll do.
It reminds me of the sense too of like when
I was putting a white little
a friend
dress
of mine
to church.
bought a bootleg copy of Avatar.
Oh, no.
Like the Blue People movie. And it was just a guy filming in the theater.
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. I thought it would be like this horrible CGI, like traumatizing.
No. It was just because remember that movie came out in like what 2010, 2011, something like that.
2009 maybe.
Yeah. So like you can imagine what like 2009, like 240p, like filming on a fucking.
Filmed through a tin, like audio going through a tin can. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
The worst part is that they did the same with my brother, but like a step up. They actually got like a certificate. They got their like friend, like they were friends with the local priest, and they got him to just sign it or something. And they changed my brother's name. Well, they added names like. When you're not baptized, you don't get a middle name. They just added some middle name, but. And we found out when she died.
Illegal baptism.
Is that a Euro vibe?
That's
a Euro vibe.
I want to go to an illegal baptism.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the.
I start blazing up after. There's like, what? What are you gonna do? Call the police? When you're baptizing a league? No court would convict me.
Yeah, I'm just. I'm gonna. This is somehow. There is an underground baptismal ring in
a competitive baptism underground circuit.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like the Guy Ritchie film that has this somewhere, like a scene in it.
Yeah. Say you could baptize 12 kids in an hour.
Yeah, and of course Colin Farrell plays the priest.
Oh my God.
By the way, I did watch the new Guy Ritchie movie that then
the Guy Ritchie
the
baptism
gentleman.
No, it's really fun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Nice.
That was a great diversion.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. That's why they came. Like, I'm like, wait, why do I think of Guy Ritchie? I'm like, oh yeah, because one, everything is the most stereotypical gangster movie.
Yeah.
Two, I watched the movie the other day, so yeah. Or the plot would be like Pig with Nicolas Cage, where he ends up in like the underground whole like thing. I don't know. I can't like that movie. That movie's too hard to describe because it's like it's very weird.
All right. So
it's baptisms instead of fighting.
So,
yeah.
12 to 14-year-olds need their parents' permission or a judge.
Yeah.
14 to 16-year-olds can just do it by themselves.
No. 12 to 14, they need judge and parents.
Oh, judge and parents.
Then 14 to 16, I think only
legal guardians, parents.
Legal guardians, parents.
Nice.
And then from 16, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Change your gender. Go join the underground baptismal circuit.
Get a water pistol.
I was thinking too that then it would have been like one of these like COVID baptisms where just like they like shot you with a water gun. That would have been cool.
I don't think I've ever shown you the communion disc gun.
That sounds like a money gun, but just cooler.
Yeah, it was the thing that would like shoot communion wafers.
Oh no.
Do they have like a Supreme version of that? Like they had like a Supreme money gun?
Well, okay, this is great because we get to announce our new merch, the Supreme branded communion wafer shooter.
That would be so cool.
I
I know that you're joking. I know that you're joking, but that'd be so sick.
Like, whoa, cool.
All right, I guess my job is unhawking these now. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And I think with that, we get to talk about NATO.
Oh, God damn it. I thought there would be like one more good thing coming up.
Well, G7. That's not good either.
The only thing that I think of with G7 is that song, which is actually Fly Like a G6. But the entire...
Well, that's the problem with the whole like G20, G7 thing. It does sound like turn of the millennium name for a rap group.
Popping bottles in the ice or whatever.
It all reminds me of G12.
G12?
G12, yeah. Which I guess is G7 plus like Indonesia.
Well, the next one's in Indonesia. G20, baby.
Yeah, G20. All right, talk about G7. I need to prep some stuff.
Nothing. What another like
What do you mean nothing?
Like,
something happens. Why would they do it? Why would they do it if nothing's...
I don't know, but I really appreciate
losing faith in the system.
Oh, damn, you are? Well, then G7 is not the thing to look at. I'm sorry. What is there to talk about fucking G7? I want a serious answer from you. What is on your notes there? Only thing is that then it's a thing for like world leaders only of the West to like flex, and they all matched shirts one day.
Yeah, that was very creepy to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you forgot about that. You forgot about, like, everyone was wearing white shirts and black pants.
Yeah.
And somehow Ursula von der Leyen had, like, the most, like, cursed trainers on.
So I don't understand the G7 photo they do. So every G7 they do this photo. At some point they presumably started of all of them at the table with like nothing in front of them, and they all look to the same camera and smile while sitting at the table. And I'm like, where does this go? Do you think this is what like office workers do? That this is how we would take like a photo of the office?
That's so cursed. That's so cursed. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I just don't know what like whenever having to cover any of the G's, the global summits,
Is that what it stands for?
Yes, G stands for Global Summit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I ruined the allure.
I thought it was like good.
Good seven.
Good seven.
That's what they fucking think,
That's what
right?
they think, yeah.
Have you guys watched The Boys?
Yes, I've watched a bit of it. I read the comics.
It's just
as well.
the G7. It's like the seven.
Yeah.
Like the bad superheroes from.
Yeah. Everyone's there. Joe Biden, Mario Draghi, the Submariner. They're all just sitting down.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, they're all thinking about what to do. Save the dolphins.
Yeah, I like G7 is the summit that I understand the least because it's so on the nose of like we're doing stuff and it's like wait what, like why does this, like they literally waste everyone's time, tax dollars, and my sanity for them to meet up and then just like get asked the dumbest questions. And then they're just all like, yeah, we're gonna serve it to Vladimir Putin. That was obviously like the
vibe.
That was the main point, and that's why the invitees, because they're allowed to invite whoever they want, were the people they were. Because a big part of this seems to be them realizing that the West, quote unquote, is kind of isolated in its attempt to turn Russia into a pariah, which is why they invited, outside of the actual G7 people, Indonesia, South Africa, Senegal, Argentina, and India.
Argentina.
As well as Ukraine, who joined virtually. And a big part of that was to...
I was imagining Zelensky becoming a streamer at this point. He does so many video conferences.
It's so many. It's ridiculous.
Where is he?
He's in Kyiv still.
Oh, still, okay.
Yeah,
he's got that Musk satellite internet.
Yeah, that is true.
They gave him the satellite internet he was promising the whole world.
Only to Ukraine.
They give it to Ukraine only. Apparently, it's been massively helpful. So, good for you, I guess, you weird pervert.
Wait, Elon Musk or
Yeah,
President
Musk.
Zelensky? Oh, yeah, because you're pro-Russia now, so you're like...
Whatever Zelensky does in the bedroom is his own business. I can't imagine he's doing it. He looks so tired.
He looks
he
very
hasn't
tired.
slept in 5 months.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, of course not.
But yeah, they're trying to convince Indonesia, South Africa, like these are countries like
Well, Indonesia's hosting the G20 as
yes.
well, so...
Indonesia also relayed a message to Putin from Zelensky, or like
No, they're meeting each other.
it's all he's been given a
Wait,
message.
what?
It's only verbal. It's not been written down.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one
but
knows
that
what it
was
is.
because Indonesia went so the president of Indonesia went yesterday to go to Ukraine, and then yes, Indonesia's
I think it was
supposed to.
today he met with Putin.
No, it was yesterday.
Oh, but no, with Putin or
Oh no, with Putin, yeah.
I think Putin was today.
Oh no. Wait, yes, it is Putin today.
Yeah, Zelensky like 2 days ago or a
No,
day ago.
wait, I'm wrong. It's 2 days ago was Zelensky. Yesterday was Putin, because Putin is today in. I could pull it up on my phone.
somewhere.
Yeah,
It was
Lavrov is in Belarus today,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
he was
he
talking
was
to-
and then he was also in Azerbaijan. Yes, I know where Putin and Lavrov are every single day of the week, and I wish I didn't. But so Indonesia's hosting the G20, and the thing that's really funny is that then Mario Draghi, like during one of the only things that was interesting during G20 is that Draghi was like, yeah, no, I don't want Putin to come. And then American media interpreted that's the official line from Indonesia. And then they just like international media, then because the U.S. never lies, went around the world twice with it being like Putin uninvited to Indonesia, this and that and that. And then Putin, like literally, like the Kremlin responds being like, yeah, no, like we're going to decide if we come or not. Like,
Yeah, they're probably
Yeah.
Mario Draghi doesn't get to decide like what Russia does, which is like, okay, fair. Mario Draghi doesn't get to decide what like anyone does because it's the fucking president or prime minister of Italy. I always forget that
He's
he's
there.
there.
Yeah.
There's sometimes where I see pictures of him like, who is this guy?
Wait.
Where is he?
Like, oh yeah.
Who let this doddering old man in?
Yeah,
Why is he here?
he was at one time the most powerful man in Europe.
So that's like the main purpose of G7. It seems to be in trying to like convince the quote global South. I'm not sure if you can call these countries global South, but still,
To have faith in the West.
yeah, and to like isolate Russia and to take the threat of Russia seriously. I mean, I don't understand why you would do that if you were like Senegal, because you're very far.
No, actually, though, tying into G7, super important news is
Oh, yeah.
that the BRICS conference was this week.
Yeah.
This is not Europe related, but I guess Russia is a part of BRICS, right?
Yeah.
The BRICS squad, and which first off, I think that we always forget that BRICS is the largest international organization in the world population wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's all
3.3
countries.
billion people.
Yeah, because it has India, China, and Brazil.
Oh yeah, they're set. However, they're adding a new member. Drum roll, please.
Oh, what?
Iran, baby. Woo! We
hang on.
did it.
So it's now BRICS,
Or BRICS.
IBRICS.
IBRICS? Yeah. No, Iran put in their application to join BRICS. But this is the thing, though, is that like, so talking about G7 being
yeah.
like that, this organization sees itself as like the global, like that. All right, first off, that the G7 in the West is so full of itself that then it thinks that the world looks at it as like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
you're the like the beacon upon the hill. Where then like, I mean, not that like, okay. The countries of BRICS are incredibly problematic. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but the fact of is that then that, I mean, that we're entering a period of time where like, you know, China doesn't have to like pick a side with the whole conflict. Russia's trying to do whatever they can in the sense of their geopolitics stuff, and you know, trying to surpass sanctions and getting other countries like on board with. Particularly in South Africa, South America and Africa, of creating, you know, kind of hotbeds in their economy so that then they don't have to rely on their gas going to the West. Like, we're in, even Turkey being like, yeah, like, we'll still have a relationship with Russia. You know, we're not entirely, like, which we'll get to that with the NATO stuff. But,
Yeah.
like, not being entirely sold on the fact of even like members within this like Western bloc that then like, oh, the West is the only, like, you know, like the be all end all,
Yeah.
you know, thing. Like we are like weirdly entering this multipolar world that then everyone has been talking about for a while.
I mean,
Good or bad about, you know, that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with all of this has been like with G7, G20, even BRICS is just like
Brick Squad. Brick Squad.
just be like,
bow, bow.
what is the UN even for now at this point if we're just doing all this stuff?
Well, this is the thing that's also like, oh god, I'm gonna sound like a fucking like Russian propaganda machine, but you know, bear with me, all right. Also, dear Vladimir Putin, please lower Kieran's gas bill. This is too high for all of us. The thing that I always thought that was like really stupid of it recently was that when given both of these claims are stupid and idiotic, like I'm not saying that then Russia or Ukraine's claim is legitimate, but when Russia came into, okay, the beginning part's not stupid because this happened. The second part of it's stupid. Russia went to the UN when the escalation in Donbass was happening, where there was like a massive exchange of fire. And I promised you guys I wasn't going to talk about Ukraine. Kind of lied. I'm very sorry. But it's
2014 you're talking about, or 2015?
No, I'm talking about
right now.
Right, like
Okay.
in December to February.
Right.
So after the OSCE conference, when escalations, remember too that at the same time that when the Daily Mail was like, this Nazi sniper just domed 4 Russians, you know, or that was like an article that you just like read and be like, oh, what? Like, oh, things are escalating, but that's like, apparently I should think that that's cool.
Yeah.
So Russia went to the UN and said like, hey, there's like a humanitarian crisis happening. Ukraine keeps bombing us. And they like laughed Russia out of the building. And then that's when Russia came back and were like the genocide claims and all that bullshit. Remember when they were oh, Ukraine's doing a genocide on the Russian people, which is like, it's the same going other way around. People who claim that Russia's doing a genocide in Ukraine are just idiots, you know, like they're
it's a war.
Yeah, it's a fucking war. Like, unfortunately, war is bad, and that's not, you know, that's not going to change anytime soon. But then when Ukraine ended up in the UN with the exact same claims as Russia, they, you know, obviously then now it's that then Russia is like causing humanitarian. Like the UN is obviously just like backing Western like perspectives on shit. Like that's so clear, especially now because Russia's claims in January were legitimate. You know, and then Ukraine went to the UN and be like, well, Ukraine's never like we're a peaceful nation who's never attacked a country, and it's like it's an act of war. So I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. So, like all of these, like all the skewing toward, it's like the point that then like even like when Zelensky, like addressed like that, what is it, the African Council, like.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, 4 countries appeared.
Yeah,
there is something really interesting in the fact that then, like, while Russia's not like good, a lot of countries are like, we would rather have a relationship with them than we would the West, especially African countries, because they're like, history.
Well, like, I mean, it's it's history is like they can claim that. I think it's mostly economic. Like there's
of course, absolutely
markets that need like raw resource exports, and that's mostly what Russia does.
Yeah. China, especially with their sense of like their creation of like their very weird like special economic zones in Africa and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I more mean like with Africa, they're now, apart from some places in like North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa is quite dependent on Russian grain.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, rather than like parts like Egypt is, but there's parts of like the Middle East and North Africa that are dependent on Ukrainian grain, but then like Russia,
so you think you think things are bad here. There's gonna be like revolutions happening in some African
there already
countries.
has. There's already been like cost of, like, it's all connected to the cost of living revolutions, and like Pakistan and Sri Lanka's governments have both been like toppled effectively because of that.
So please get me back on track with NATO then.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay, NATO.
Sorry.
God damn it, where do we start with this? Okay, so the summit kind of started positively from a NATO perspective and then not so much towards the end, which is kind of funny, I guess. There's going to be a huge deployment of troops in a bunch of different countries.
300,000, baby. And NATO is forming the creation of new battle groups, to quote my man Jens Stoltenberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
300,000 more, yeah.
Yeah.
Asia-wise, Europe was the term.
Yeah, that Brandon said.
Yeah. He also...
Give it, all right, that press conference I watched, I did not understand half the shit that was coming out of Joe Biden's mouth. Also, a very tan Joe Biden, because
he's so tan.
He just came back from G7, and, he got...
In that Munich sun.
He got heat exhaustion and had to leave early.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then, leaves G7 early, goes to NATO, meets Stoltenberg.
Met the Spanish king, did he?
Yeah, he met the Spanish king too, and then he met them alongside the South Korean delegates, and then weirdly gave one of them a back massage or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's Joe. That's what Joe does.
Remember when George Bush did that to Maka?
Ew.
No.
Yeah.
Why would I remember that?
Yeah, George W. Bush gave Merkel a back massage. Also, a fucking G8.
What is it with Americans giving?
Americans go to Europe and just get their freak on.
Yeah.
G7 is the equivalent of
This is him backpacking.
Erasmus.
He didn't do it when he was young.
Yeah.
He's going to a foam party in Barcelona and going to get a hand job from a Czech woman. It's going to be great. He's going to experience things. He's going to come back saying Barcelona.
Oh, no.
Listen here, Jack. It's pronounced Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Madrid. He also confused Switzerland and Sweden.
No,
He said Switzerland was going to join NATO.
Way to go, Brandon.
I saw this video that he made a joke to because they agreed to have more American troops in Spain.
Yeah.
And he made a joke to the Spanish king, being haha, be careful, we're not gonna leave now. And I was like, oh no.
Wait, no, that's true.
That's true, though. That's
exactly.
That's not a joke.
Haha, and Felipe was like, haha. I'm like, no, you should not be fucking laughing.
I love how Brandon just comes to the NATO summit just being just on his sleeve of yes, the NATOization of Europe is the Americanization of Europe. Yeah, that's what he means by that.
Yeah,
and we're not leaving, baby. USA #1.
Countries left the Warsaw Pact. No one has left NATO.
Yeah. So there's the new NATO battle groups that are being stationed. So the thing that's really weird that Sweden and Finland, which we'll get to, are joining officially. They got the green light from, as now Jens Stoltenberg finally respects Turkey, because at the beginning of the conference calls it Turkey, and then directly when they left the negotiations, he's like, we have reached an agreement with Turkey, eh?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
you just got you got fucking cucked.
Well, that's what the whole NATO conference was. It's just Erdogan doming everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the video of Boris Johnson? He was sitting down and then Erdogan comes just in, I don't know where they were, having.
They were in that creepy NATO circle.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then Erdogan comes and gets close to him and he just goes, just gets super scared.
He
and
was
stands
sniffing
up and
him to see if he was really Turkish because of all the rumors of Bojo being.
I mean, his dad says he is.
Yeah,
what?
the Turkish foreign ministry also.
Turkish descent.
Yeah, when Boris Johnson won too, the Turkish foreign ministry put out a statement being we were proud of having a Turkish.
What's their equivalent to RT again? What, TRT or something?
Yeah, I think so.
TRT, they're soft power, DW France 24 style station. When Boris won, became prime minister, they had his dad on, who has the same hair, and it's very weird, talking about how him and his son are proud Turks.
What?
Yeah, baby, it's great.
I wish
They're
that
Turkish.
I wish that we were making this up. Yeah.
All of NATO is Turkish.
Oh God! All of NATO now pretty much is Turkish, but we'll get to that. Yeah. So NATO is just doing this interesting thing now, where they're creating these battle groups that are stationed in a country that are responsible for another country. So Germany is making a battle group in Germany for Lithuania.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't want to see troop. Like my theory is that they don't want to see troop buildups in countries that Russia doesn't want troop buildups
like the Baltics.
physically in them.
Yeah.
But then that there would be a reserve squad like there. That's not the important part though. The important part is that then Turkey and Finland, after much deliberation, as in literally the fastest deliberation I've ever seen in my life, just threw Kurdish people in their country, which in Sweden is a large minority, completely under the bus, and gave everything that then Erdogan wanted.
So I can give you the list if you want.
Please do.
Okay, so there's a caveat to the end of this because it might have been fucked over, but let's talk about the deal. Finland and Sweden are going to join. Turkey got everything they wanted. Sweden and Finland will lift its arms embargo against Turkey, which was implemented after I think after Ifrin, possibly. Both will support Turkey on the PKK issue and stop support of the YPG. They will amend their laws on terrorism, I'm assuming to include YPG
the YPG and the PKK,
yeah.
At least the PKK.
Yeah, they will share intel with each other. They will extradite terror suspects. Finland and Sweden will support Turkey's participation to EU's PESCO. Turkey, Finland, and Sweden will establish a permanent joint mechanism to consult on justice, security, and intelligence. SAPO, the intelligence agency of Sweden, has already created a list of Kurdish exiles to deport to Turkey. Initially, that list was a dozen or so people. From talking to listeners and friends of the show, Max from Brother Folkens about Sweden, he's basically been saying like SAPO's been itching to do this for years and years and years. They're not exactly a Kurdish sympathetic institution.
They just got bought by the Turks.
And now the thing that might have screwed this is
the extradition thing doesn't work in Sweden either, though. That's the first thing.
Erdogan is now demanding 73 exiles.
What?
He sent.
Is this like a special number in like Turkish nationalist terms? Like why 73?
He might have people in mind.
Oh God! Like
might have a list.
He probably had a list.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Erdogan be like, I got enemies. Got a lot of enemies.
I wish Erdogan had a Twitter account. He seems like he would have.
He does have a Twitter account. He goes a little buck wild on it sometimes. He's also has declared that then like that Greece's leader is not the legitimate leader of Greece.
He's going to destroy NATO. It's going to be.
I am here for
Well,
it. You know what?
Yeah, exactly.
I will. If anyone does it, Erdogan.
He's going to invade Albania or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just go for it. Please don't. We don't need another war in Europe.
We barely need the first one.
Yeah. But no. So the thing that then Sweden came back yesterday and said that the extradition thing probably will not be happening because Swedish law doesn't allow it.
So yeah, this has been like the lib Swedish position is that they're basically going to be good Turkey within NATO, that they'll get in the door and then not follow through with any of the agreements, which because of what Max said about Sapo like wanting to do the stuff that everyone wants them to do, it's very hard to believe that. There's a lot within a lot of institutions within Sweden that are willing that like want to go along.
Germany's the best. Like Bavaria is the best example of this. That they have like literally the entire Verfassungsschutz in Bavaria is just like targeting not the entire, but I mean like when we had Kerem on the show, it was very clear that then that the one that they're very incapable of doing their jobs right, but if it comes to like Kurdish shit, they will like double down.
Despite their best efforts, they're trying to be collaborationists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, they fuck up.
Yeah, because Bavaria sends so many fucking weapons to Turkey. Like, it's their largest export. But,
so, yeah, he might have fucked it up last minute, which he announced, like, yesterday, I can't remember, like, which is the last day of the summit.
Yesterday,
yeah. He announced it yesterday, so that was kind of hilarious that he just basically put a huge dampener on, like, one of the major achievements of the summit. That like it's not guaranteed yet. It probably still will go through. I think it's kind of inevitable, but like
one of the other things too, the NATO summit that was incredibly interesting, like veering off from Turkey, Sweden, Finland stuff too, is that then this is also the first time that NATO has designated China as like an equal threat to Europe, which is I'm sorry, like I don't want to be that annoying guy, but it's like if you don't see NATO just like an extension of U.S. foreign policy, like what, like I
well, yeah. I mean, like this is what Brandon She's like, okay,
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, fucking hell. Joe Biden had like ran on when he was running is like both him and Trump were basically attacking each other for being the like one who was soft on China, and they're going to be the one who's going to be hard on China, and Joe kind of won that out, I guess. And speaking of invitees, so like while the invitees to the G7 were about trying to get the global South on board with backing Ukraine against Russia, the invitees to the NATO summit were Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, were attended the NATO summit for the first time. And that is all in aid of... Oh, and also, sorry, Australia.
And they're also going to help... They're also going to do collaborative NATO exercises.
Yeah, that is all in aid
of... You have no idea how many press conferences I watched. My brain's still trying to just, like, you know, forget how Jens Stoltenberg sounds. He's just like, in my head saying the word battle groups.
That is all in aid of, like, this whole China thing. So... I think we can end today's episode with a little bit of a reading series.
Oh hell yeah! I love it.
It's a short one, and it is from the it's loading now, from our favorite Twisted Expat.
You mean the fake Arizonian?
Yes, the fake Arizonan, the Austro-American.
Yeah.
Matthew Karnichig.
Absolute sicko. He blocked me immediately on... All right. A man with the thinnest skin ever, because the reason he blocked me on Twitter is because I said he wasn't a real Arizonian.
Are you serious?
That is it.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
And you know he was crying to himself as well.
Yeah. He's like, I'm real, I swear. He's the one, like, to refresh our listeners' brains, who is like our... Writes for Politico, loves Sebastian Kurz.
He's the Europe editor.
Yeah.
For Politico.
If it wasn't clear that Politico is a very far right publication in Europe,
he's a massive neocon. The thing that he tweeted about most recently was our favorite, well-intentioned liberal German Thilo Jung interviewed the ambassador to Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was...
Andrei Melnik, or whatever the hell his name is, where he's just like, yeah, Stefan Bandera did nothing wrong. Like, what are you talking about?
God, that was so funny. Like, I understood enough German of, like, him talking. He was, like, basically saying the numbers of, like, Polish people that the OUNB killed.
It's like, no, it didn't happen.
The number of Jewish people the OUNB killed.
No, it didn't happen.
But then, like, he asked, like, where are you getting this from? And he just goes, the Jewish community of Berlin. And he was like, well... He snickered at that in a way that felt very uncomfortable. Like, he basically, well, yeah.
Melnik's a really interesting character because...
Yeah, like, they're not to be trusted. Yeah.
Melnik is a really interesting character because even, like, back, like, when he first got this post, was incredibly, like, pro-Azov, which was kind of the thing that then was that you never mentioned Azov as being part of the Ukrainian military, let alone just openly supporting them. Because remember, the U.S. had the embargo of weapons against them at that point.
Yeah.
And he was just like, nah, like, my boys, I see you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't clear, Andrei Melnik is I don't think I can legally call him the Nazi word, but he's really close to being the Nazi word. The Nazi word is Nazi.
Yeah.
Well, because I say N-word, it doesn't work the same way.
I was like, I don't think I can legally call him the N-word.
Yo,
like, I don't think you should.
Andrei Melnik,
Nope. Moving on.
Anyway.
Yo, what up, my Nazi?
God damn it. So Matthew Karnichig, his response to all of this was to claim that Germans don't actually care about, like, the ambassador of Ukraine denying the Holocaust, or at least a part of it. They care about this because all Germans are pro-Russian, is basically his statement. He's gone, like, full insane neocon. Yeah.
Is he German?
He's Austrian.
No, he's not.
Austrian.
No, he's American.
Oh.
He speaks German.
He speaks German, like, relatively well, but...
I thought Okay, I thought he was Austrian and then went to America.
He's of Austrian heritage. He claims to be Austrian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, freak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Which is why he loves Kurt
All
so
right,
much.
all right. I get it in a regard when like there's Americans that are like, oh, like I'm Italian American, baby, you know, heritage.
Yeah.
I get that. Italian, kind of sexy, you know, like good food. But
But
I'm
Austria?
an Austro-American, just like
That's like Hitler shit.
yeah.
No, we had 2 world wars where you're meant to be embarrassed about that. Stop talking about it.
Yeah, or like just like super weird Catholic monarchist shit. Pick
Oh,
one,
yeah,
which
true.
they might be related.
Yeah.
like
He's
I mean,
he's a never Trumper, so he's like not that far.
oh,
but,
so
like,
he's a very proud supporter
he's
of
just a
the
neocon.
of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Then, so
Yeah.
all right,
So okay, here we go. This is his article in Politico called "To Save NATO, Destroy It." So
I'm listening to the second part of that.
yeah,
Let's
you
go.
have my attention.
Yeah.
You understand why I saw this article come up in my RSS feed and be like, all right, yeah, sure, fuck it. From the sounds of it, the transatlantic alliance has never been stronger. At the close of what the leaders across the West billed as a historic summit on Thursday, which included dinners in the Spanish capital's sumptuous royal palace
Don't even.
and the spectacular Prado Museum.
Don't even. It's the first time they close it off since the Spanish Civil War.
What?
To
Really?
have them fucking. Sorry, it just like pisses me off. Just
So
have them,
this is the Prado Museum, not the Prada Museum. And I thought like, that'd be a very weird
No,
place.
Prado's from Milan.
Prado.
No, but the museum is in Madrid.
Yeah, you know what?
The
Actually,
Italians demand all their historic Prada.
you know what? You know what?
All the bags.
Yeah, the fact that then every Italian fashion designer is a fascist. It would not surprise me in any way where
Right.
they're like, "Oh, Frankismo, baby, let's go."
Oh,
We
yeah.
will keep our relics safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, for sure,
for all you know, the
Someone
Prada.
smuggled out all the Prada bags during the years of Lent to Franco, Spain. It's like, you will be safe here, my babies.
I mean, Franco's relics are still safe. So
Yeah, exactly. It's all Prada.
Yeah, the first Prada bag is actually in that giant mausoleum Franco's family is in. He's buried with it.
it's an advice. Those guys.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Spectacular Prado Museum. Superlatives were flying fast and furious. Calling the summit transformative and far-reaching, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg predicted at the close of the 3-day affair that the decisions made there would ensure that our alliance continues to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and protect our people and our values. It's not what NATO does, but going on. Look beyond the staged backslapping, bonhomie, and self-congratulation in Madrid, however, and one can see that while the alliance's unity might be a mile wide, it's also only an inch deep. Its collective sense of purposes as varied as its 30 members. Okay, so this is the point where I kind of like agree with Matthew that like, yeah, it's not, the alliance of NATO has never really been tested.
He also like has like, I mean, I hate to be a jerk, but this is probably the only like summit of any sort that he's watched, because that's exactly what happens like every like
Yeah.
what like
That's what summits are about.
it's about just grandstanding and being like we are defending democracy, and like yeah, that's it. Like do you think they actually come up with fucking solutions here?
No.
Like are you a baby?
We'll get to that. Start with the
Goo goo gaga, the end of the
Start with the issue at hand. The leaders managed to declare Russia, which has been threatening European security since at least 2007, which he links to a BBC article where Estonia gets hacked, the most significant and direct threat to security, peace, and stability in the Euro-Atlantic area is more of a sign that they are masters of the obvious than of grand strategy. I'm surprised that Russia hadn't been declared an enemy of NATO before. It seems like that's all they did.
Russia was invited to NATO talks like very recently, like 2018.
Yeah.
Like Medvedev went and like was a representative from Russia. Like One of the funniest bits of history too is in like the 60s, the Soviet Union tries to join NATO.
Yeah. But like, okay, so like, it wouldn't surprise. Would it surprise you to know that Matthew Karchinik like hates Merkel for the reasons that like she talked to Russia?
Of course,
sees
yeah.
as like a major sin. So,
Yeah, because he has the brain of a toddler.
Yeah. So the other signal achievement cited by Stoltenberg was a much heralded deal to bring Sweden and Finland. This was less the result of high diplomacy and mutual defense than what might politely be called extortion on the part of Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Turkish president held the pair's accession hostage over his desire to buy new F-16 fighters in the US and got what he wanted.
F-18s?
No, I think it was F-16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Such backroom machinations make NATO look like more of a protection racket than a community of values, correct? And for what? Erdogan's belligerent treatment of allies prompted the United States to weigh abandoning the strategic Incirlik air base in southern Turkey less than 2 years ago. Does anyone really believe he can be counted on to send troops to help the Baltics in the event of a Russian invasion? Hardly.
Also, if I was a big NATO stan, props to Erdogan for being the only NATO member to have downed a Russian aircraft and had nothing happen to them.
Well, no, that's not true. Turk Vision that year was cancelled.
True, yeah, all right. Yeah, I think that we forget that Turkey shot down not just any aircraft, they shot down an experimental Su-35 that Russia was like, this aircraft cannot be shot down. And Turkey was like, yeah, no. Like, all right, like you're in Turkish airspace, whatever, with the Syrian civil war shit. And just, yeah.
Shot down.
And like, yeah, Turkey's very.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about Turkey as something that you could easily kick out of NATO, but like Turkey has the largest army in NATO after the US.
Yeah.
Like 890,000 troops.
Proud Turkish nationalists.
Which the next one after that is like Italy with 336,000.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now Poland's going to be, 300,000?
Still, they still wouldn't beat Greece and Italy at that point.
Exactly.
What's Spain, do you know?
Oh, I don't off the top of my head, but a lot lower.
Well, yeah.
But like, yeah.
Shouldn't you know these things?
No, I'm from Catalonia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Our standing army is illegal. The membership in the alliance of the wannabe Sultan and Hungary's strongman in waiting, Viktor Orban, don't just undermine NATO's claim to be a community of liberal values, they make a mockery of it. Okay, so that's where you know he's not a true Austrian conservative, because if you were an Austrian conservative, you would love Viktor Orban.
Yeah, true.
Viktor Orban.
My new mixtape, feeling like Orban, coming out next year, just so you know, but whatever.
So yeah, this is he's basically going into the whole like NATO is a community of liberal countries. Ignore that it worked with Franco's Spain quite closely. Ignore that Salazar's Portugal was a founding member. Ignore that Greece turned fascist and wasn't kicked out of NATO. So
yeah. Ignore that the first ever use of Agent Orange ever is a NATO bombing raid in Greece.
Yeah.
Jesus. I think Franco actually turned them down. How shitty do you have to be?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Franco was not really, not interested.
Maybe Franco was in his no new friends mode though. You don't know. You don't know how he was thinking that day.
I'm still recovering from my besties Mussolini and Hitler dying.
Yeah. Yo, I'm mourning dog. The year's 1968 and I'm not over him yet.
I'll join
He's wearing
your
all black.
model.
Black veil.
Anyway.
Bro, it's been 25 years. I can't get over them.
And they're not the only ones undermining NATO's legitimacy. Up until Russia's February 24th assault on Ukraine, France and Germany were still fantasizing about strategic autonomy, the notion that Europe should liberate itself from American security guarantees that allowed the continent to flourish in the post-war era, and instead seize the reins of European security for itself. Indeed, just weeks before the Russian invasion, prominent German politicians, including Annalena Baerbock, now foreign minister, were demanding the US withdraw all of its nuclear warheads from German soil.
I agree with her for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
but like, I don't think she was. Was she like?
No, she was. Yeah, because the one thing that the Greens are still actually like up until now, nuclear weapons are still not cool with, and even when in this like this is the thing that then's like Kardashian's kind of funny about them being like NATO won't give statements about nuclear weapons. Like they were like Stoltenberg was asked about like you asked about it by Politico, hilariously enough, of like will there be a push for rearmament of nukes, and Stoltenberg just avoided the question. One, because it was a stupid question. Like the situation in Ukraine is not going to end up in a nuclear fucking war, like unless like Lithuania does something really stupid. Or Poland, but which, you know, I mean, that could very well happen. But the thing of it is, at the end of the day, is that then this conference was for NATO to flex that they haven't accepted that Ukraine's lost, whatever, you know, losing, winning. I mean, the fact that then that the borders that are currently there right now are probably going to be staying that way. And even in the sense that then when they were talking about like, like Stoltenberg admits that then that Ukraine can't win, but that diplomacy will be Ukraine's answer, but on Ukrainian terms, which like then doesn't fucking mean anything. Like they just want to like, you know, I mean, they're looking at the Raytheon and like Rheinmetall stocks and being like, damn, my money good, homie. You know? So if it isn't clear of why this war is still going on and why NATO won't bring them to the table, it's not that then like these countries won't come to the table. It's that they're Ukraine more so than Russia is heavily discouraged to go and negotiate, where Turkey is even offered on multiple occasions to be a country for them to go and negotiate on. Belarus, obviously, I can understand why Zelensky would not want to go there because that is very clearly like an op of to get his ass like arrested or some shit. But like it is like I don't understand how like baby brain him can't understand that then that like obviously the liberal values of NATO are bullshit. And the situation right now, especially on like legit serious questions like, oh, should we rearm with fucking nukes, is like something only Americans fantasize about. It really is like just Americans just like, yeah, when can we fucking just nuke Vladimir Putin? It's like, just shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, he then starts to like complain about Germany not sending enough weapons. He also doesn't like think Turkey is particularly useful to the NATO alliance, which is not true. They're very useful. They're also quite useful to Ukraine because they provide them with a lot of drones.
Oh yeah, the Biorector thing's like incredibly cheap. Also, the thing that started this entire conflict, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're becoming a bit more useless now because they're getting the conflict is now closer to Russian airspace where they can be easily shot down.
Yeah.
So, So he now thinks that like NATO and Europe are kind of like having a good time because Joe Biden is there, but he also doesn't think Joe Biden's going to last for very long. And
I thought he was never Trumper.
He just thinks he's a never Trumper, but he doesn't.
He voted Donald Trump. He
doesn't like Joe Biden. Like, yeah. Anyway,
we have a dying Kieran.
I was holding that in for a bit. Okay. That doesn't mean Washington is likely to pull out of NATO, as Trump threatened to, but as the challenges the US faces with China becomes more acute, the days of coddling European allies will have to come to an end. That's why NATO doesn't just need the rethink heralded by the likes of Stoltenberg, it needs to be completely reborn. Instead of making vague promises as it did this week to share equitably responsibilities and risks for our decade of security, NATO would be wise to pursue more radical reform. That not only means leaning less on the US, but also redefining what NATO is and isn't and practicing what it preaches. But simply, if members don't adhere to basic democratic norms, they should be forced out. Similarly, those not willing to contribute to their own defense should be encouraged to seek their security guarantees elsewhere. Cool.
How many dictatorships did we name that were a member of NATO?
I know, but like if he's going by contribute their own defense.
No. Then like there's 4 countries.
Yeah, and then you also have the caveat of democratic norms because one of those 4 countries is Turkey.
Well, I mean, but even exactly. But that's the thing too, is that then like just historically, NATO doesn't care about the 2%, obviously, because a lot of other countries are just like, well, we know it's a U.S. bloc, so fuck it, we're not going to invest our own shit.
Yeah,
and the democratic norms thing is like, obviously every member knows that is like a big asterisk next to it of like, it doesn't matter.
He's praising Poland in this.
Yeah. Like, talk about one of the most like fucking like autocratic countries in this dumb fucking continent.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised he didn't have this thing of like, I mean, the reason he's not mentioning Orban is because Orban's like.
He did mention Orban.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Briefly, yeah,
I didn't read the whole thing.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't. I'm glad that I didn't because.
Anyway, in military, this is how he ends. In military circles, the tactic of destroying a town to save it is controversial. In NATO's case, there's no other option. So, critical support for Comrade Matthew Karnichig for his very dumb idea to destroy NATO by building a NATO that no one would qualify for.
Yeah.
And hoping.
See, this is why NATO's like, okay, I am anti-NATO. I can accept in the sense of that then, game recognized game. NATO knows that like all the like things to enter are bullshit, except for that then like the only one that like isn't bullshit is that you can't have like your territory has to be like defined.
You have to control the territory you claim.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is why Cyprus can't join.
Exactly. But the NATO's like strength is in the fact that they can pretend that they aren't an imperialist organization because they're like, oh well, they have sovereignty and they can like do we have some kooky characters in here. They do their own stuff, but at the end of the day, we all come together for this like defensive mechanism, and it's like no, like that's obviously like NATO is just an extension of U.S. foreign policy. If it isn't fucking clear to you now, then I don't know what to tell you. It is allowed to, like, the pretend sovereignty thing, though, is, like, so genius of it that then, like, members can be like, no, we're not, like, we aren't succumbing to U.S.'s bullshit. But, what did Brandon say? What, the NATOization of Europe?
Yeah.
It's coming, baby. The Brandonification of Europe.
Yeah. Switzerland is Sweden.
Yeah.
Switzerland is joining NATO.
Exactly. Greece is Turkey.
Oh, and I think that's a corner Späti for a week. I'm very warm and sick.
I'm incredibly warm.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But before we leave you, I do have to. Also, everyone in the comments say, "Welcome, Uma."
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, and also,
Oh my god, it's so great to be here.
Oh, stop it.
we do a whole episode in that voice. We're all doing that voice.
It's my American voice.
It's my American voice too.
Oh my
You'll
god.
sound like this. It's my Joe Biden impression.
Shut the fuck up.
You listen here, Jack. I'm slutty Joe Biden.
Ew. No, I'm leaving the podcast. I've had enough, I think.
All right.
This was fun.
Live show coming up on Sunday, June 17th. We'll be playing in the evening as a part of Podfest Berlin.
Woo!
Myself, Rob, and Nick will be there. So that'll be fun. And I don't know what we'll talk about. I don't know, maybe the Adenauer Institute, that whole like Nazi organization that basically invented ancient aliens.
That should be fun.
I'll make it fun. There'll be slides. Some of them I might not legally be allowed to show in Germany in a public setting. We'll figure it out. But yeah, come on down. It should be a lot of fun. Live podcast recording. For anyone who would like a deal at Podfest Berlin's website, you can use the code community-deal-22, and I believe that is a 20% discount on the ticket for the whole festival. Well, there will be prices at the door to get into just our show if you just want to come see us. We will be at the Noisy Rooms, which is at, oh my god, it's near Warschauer Straße, Reveler Straße 99, in Berlin, near Warschauer Straße, and I guess that is the very southern point of Friedrichshain. And you can come on down, and that will be a lot of fun. We'll keep talking about it until it happens. So with that, I just want to say, yeah, see you next week. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.